if you feel like the AI news cycle isn't really delivering weekly updates anymore, but more like, I don't know, a simultaneous tectonic shift across hardware, capability, ethics, well, you're absolutely right. It is overwhelming.
Yeah.
Seriously. We've seen these huge capital flows, groundbreaking model announcements, and frankly, some really sobering ethical failures, all just within weeks. You just can't read every single report. So our mission today is simple: give you the ultimate shortcut. We've synthesized comprehensive reports on the latest strategic moves from, the big players.
Yeah.
OpenAI, Google, Anthropic, and those critical infrastructure giants providing the power.
That's right. And when the pace is this frantic, honestly, the sheer volume of information can paralyze you. So we've boiled down the sources into 3 crucial areas for you to really grasp quickly. First, we absolutely need to understand the intensifying global competition, particularly around hardware and chip dominance.
Okay.
Second, we'll look at how these hyper-specialized AI applications are emerging, especially in the lightning-fast fields of video generation and healthcare.
Yeah. Right. Those seem to be moving incredibly fast.
Yeah.
And finally, I suppose we have to tackle that growing, pretty much unavoidable conflict between just maximizing pure capability and, well, maintaining the necessary guardrails, the safety and ethics side.
Exactly.
And we promise you specific, memorable details here. We're going to talk about rivals setting annual revenue targets that honestly make OpenAI's forecasts look modest. And we'll show you how deepfake tech is advancing so fast, it's like literally bypassing moderation protocols put in place just weeks ago.
It's moving that quickly.
So let's unpack this, starting right at the foundation. The hardware arms race. This battle for the chip crown is staggering, and the numbers definitely reflect that. Our sources really highlight the sheer scale of investment, specifically around NVIDIA. We saw NVIDIA cross this just staggering market cap, partly fueled by that monumental $100 billion partnership with OpenAI.
It is a dizzying figure, yeah. And the market's reaction, it's fascinating. You have this exponential growth, but it's now paired with these increasing, bubble warnings from top analysts. The level of investment feels almost unsustainable, but the incentives mean the race it can't stop.
But it's interesting though, right? Despite that massive NVIDIA partnership, OpenAI seems to be actively showing it doesn't want to be locked into just one supplier. Are they really trying to diversify their way out of that dependency?
Oh, absolutely. That's the strategic play here. OpenAI is keenly aware of the risk, the danger of single source reliance, especially with chips being the ultimate choke point right now.
Right.
So they're striking these multi-billion-dollar deals, not just to buy from NVIDIA, but also with AMD and, critically, with Broadcom. And listen to this, they're co-developing custom data center chips directly with Broadcom.
Oh, okay. So this isn't just buying inventory.
No, not at all. This is strategic, massive-scale independence planning to ensure their supply chain is resilient. It's crucial. And
this chip race isn't just confined to Silicon Valley's supply lines, is it? I mean, look at the global dynamics. China, partly in response to U.S. sanctions restricting access to the most cutting-edge tools, they're making a real strategic push on alternative chip-making paths.
Yeah, that's a big one. So for context, the main restriction is around extreme ultraviolet lithography, EUV. Think of EUV as the super precise light pen, used to draw the absolute finest lines on a chip.
Okay.
Since China is mostly cut off from that tech, they're investing heavily in alternatives like SSMB, nanoimprint, and these multi-beam E-beam technologies.
Hang on, can you simplify that a bit? SSMB, nanoimprint.
Yeah.
What's the core difference conceptually?
Okay, simply put, instead of relying on that super complex high-energy light, the EUV, to draw the lines, these alternatives look at different methods. For example, using physical stencils, that's nanoimprint, or using multiple electron beams, the multi-beam E-beam, simultaneously. It's a very serious, very competitive signal. They're basically saying, if we can't use your path, fine, we will create our own parallel path to capability.
Got it. And that strategic competition then extends directly into the software platforms, too.
Exactly, yeah. Look at Huawei. Also reacting to U.S. sanctions, they've announced plans to release a major open-source AI framework by the end of 2025. This move is clearly designed to empower developers globally and specifically to challenge Western tech dominance at the platform level by offering an alternative ecosystem.
Okay, but before we move on to the actual models, the brains, we have to touch on the fragility of all this infrastructure, right?
Yeah.
While all this AI power is incredible, we just saw that massive AWS outage recently. It knocked major platforms, including Perplexity, completely offline. It really made you wonder, if the foundation is unstable, How frontier can the systems built on top really be?
That raises a really critical point. You see a major AI platform suddenly go down and you think, is it an AI issue?
Right.
But our sources were clear? No. These incidents, they reflect long-standing cloud vulnerabilities, infrastructure fragility. Essentially, it's like a power grid problem, not a generative model problem itself.
But okay, for the average user, if the platform they rely on for, say, research or decision-making just crashes, that distinction is kind of meaningless, isn't it? Doesn't this lack of resilience fundamentally undermine the massive capability we were just talking about?
It absolutely underscores the risk of centralization, yeah?
Ugh.
It proves just how dependent these incredibly powerful systems are on stable, centralized infrastructure.
Mm.
And that stability, it's just not guaranteed yet. It really shows us that building resilience is just as critical, maybe even more critical right now, than just building raw capability.
That's a perfect pivot then to the brains of the operation, the LLM battleground. OpenAI's API usage, I mean, it remains massive,
Yeah.
processing something like an astounding 6 billion tokens per minute.
Yeah, the scale is still huge.
But the data also shows that the growth of their flagship ChatGPT mobile app is slowing down globally. Is this like a saturation issue, or is the competition finally starting to, eat their lunch?
Well, it looks like a bit of both, actually. The initial maybe novelty factor is wearing off, and yeah, the competition is biting hard. Why? Because rivals have become acutely specialized. Just look at Anthropic, for instance.
Okay, Anthropic.
Their strategy seems entirely focused on enterprise specialization. They unveiled Claude for Life Sciences, specifically designed to streamline complex research, regulatory tasks, and their new skills feature. It allows companies to build highly customized AI tools right into their workflows. They're zeroing in on specific business needs.
And they are aggressively betting on that enterprise focus. We saw their annual revenue target, $26 billion for 2026. Wait, did I read that right? $26 billion. That's more than double OpenAI's forecast for 2025. That feels incredibly aggressive. What core weakness in OpenAI are they possibly exploiting to justify that kind of massive forecast?
The sources suggest they're really banking on trust and customization. Anthropic keeps emphasizing safety and predictability, which, is paramount in regulated industries like finance or biotech.
Makes sense.
They seem to be betting that enterprises will pay a premium for a highly controlled, specialized environment where, hallucinations and unpredictable output are minimized. That's something OpenAI's more general purpose focus might struggle to guarantee consistently.
Okay, so that's Anthropic. Meanwhile, Google's strategy seems almost the opposite. Deep ecosystem integration, making Gemini just ubiquitous. The feature that really stood out in our sources was the Gemini API tapping live Google Maps data from 250 million places.
Right. That's potentially a game changer for real-world utility. It allows developers to build location-aware answers that are constantly up-to-date, contextually rich. It's quite powerful.
Yeah.
And you can see this integration push everywhere, right? From consumer devices, like the Gemini AI assistant now debuting on Sony Bravia TVs, to internal tooling like Notebook LM, which is transforming these long research papers into automatically generated summaries, timelines. They're weaving AI into the tools people already use every day.
And looking beyond the U.S. giants, these global models are surging too, aren't they? Competing aggressively on scale and cost.
Absolutely. Alibaba, for example, expanded its Qwen3 family with a trillion-parameter mixture of experts model and MoE.
Right, MoE. Can you simplify that quickly?
Sure. Imagine like a big team of specialized experts collaborating. The system only activates the specific expert needed for a particular question or task. That makes it incredibly efficient for its massive size. And that same Qwen3 family also boasts an open-weight vision language model with a context window up to 1 million tokens.
Wow, 1 million tokens. That context window is just huge. And cost, that remains a massive differentiator for these open models.
It really does. Look at DeepSeek V3.1. It demonstrated standout performance in live real money trading benchmarks. It was competing strongly on cost and speed. Meaning they've built a model that can apparently react faster and cheaper to real-world market movements than many human traders or older algorithms. The economic pressure on the big proprietary models is definitely real and growing.
And even OpenAI seems to be making these nuanced updates that maybe show awareness of user frustration. They rolled out this selective forgetting feature.
Yeah, that's interesting. It's basically an acknowledgement that AI memory needs to be manageable, not just, infinite. Selective forgetting lets the AI remember crucial info for context, like your specific professional preferences, maybe while discarding the rest of the conversation history. It allows for more intuitive, perhaps more privacy-minded interactions.
Right.
It's kind of an admission that perpetual memory, while technically impressive, isn't always great for the user experience or for privacy.
Okay, moving on to the creative frontier now. Let's look at the rapid advancement in specialized tooling, particularly in that creative and embodied AI space. Video generation. I mean, it feels like it's moving at a terrifying pace.
It really is. We have to give you some specific examples to really understand the scale of this acceleration. Krea, for instance, released a 14 billion parameter real-time video generation model. And the code, released under the Apache 2.0 license, so it's open.
Real time.
Real time. And this model is capable of generating long-form video at double-digit frames per second on just a single accelerator.
Okay, that's the key phrase there, isn't it? A single accelerator. That means you don't necessarily need a dedicated server farm anymore to generate polished, long-form video. That feels like true democratization of something that was hyper-expensive just, like, months ago.
Exactly. And Google is right there, too. Their VO 3.1 introduced start-to-end frame transitions, think smoother, more cinematic shots, and demonstrated the surgical object removal with seamless scene reconstruction.
Ooh.
Yeah. Advanced visual effects, stuff previously restricted to major Hollywood studios, are now basically within reach of anyone with a decent internet connection. It's wild.
And beyond the flashy video tools, GenAI seems to be supercharging more practical enterprise needs too, even starting with basic documents. That whole stack for PDF and optical character recognition OCR, it seems to have leveled up significantly.
Oh, massively. DeepSeek, again, launched this high-accuracy OCR that can apparently read handwriting and supports over 100 languages.
Yeah.
Think about the implications for digitizing archives or processing forms.
Yeah, huge.
Meanwhile, in industrial settings, you're seeing AI-driven automation enabling really complex predictive maintenance, streamlining operations, reducing waste, cutting downtime. It's becoming foundational.
And in healthcare, GenAI seems to be providing some desperately needed support, particularly around clinician burnout.
Yes, absolutely. It's starting to reduce those crushing administrative burdens that just plague nurses and doctors, freeing up their time. Plus, you have specialized tools targeting specific global health gaps, like Core.ai's QXR tool. It uses AI to enable rapid, accurate detection of pediatric tuberculosis just from X-ray images.
Wow.
This is where AI stops being just a novelty and becomes truly critical infrastructure,
Yeah.
solving real-world, high-stakes problems.
Which brings us inevitably to the final and maybe the most urgent section, that conflict between this staggering capability and, well, the necessary integrity. The ethical and validation concerns seem to be rising just as fast as the AI itself.
And this has led to some immediate, very public ethical reckonings. OpenAI, for example, faced intense backlash and had to halt the use of Martin Luther King Jr.'s likeness in Sora videos after his family objected. It really underscores the deep sensitivities around using public figures, especially historical ones.
Yeah, absolutely. And that situation happened right alongside the fact that security experts confirmed they successfully bypassed Sora's own anti-impersonation tools. It feels like the industry is constantly playing this desperate game of catch-up on safety. And honestly, they keep losing ground.
They do.
Yeah.
And the concerns go even deeper than just deepfakes. Copyright fears are hitting really hard now. This new neural fingerprinting tool exposed that AI models from both OpenAI and Google seem to heavily use copyrighted works in the images they generate.
Okay, neural fingerprinting. Can you explain that term briefly? What is that?
Right. Think of it like a digital forensic tool for AI output. It can identify these subtle patterns or specific stylistic residues in the generated content that strongly match known copyrighted source material used in training.
I see.
And this discovery is just intensifying the whole legal debate over compensation, fair use, and the foundational legality of the training process itself. If the output is derived from copyrighted work, who owns it? Who gets paid? It's a massive question.
Furthermore, safety researchers are now voicing these genuine concerns that continually pre-training models on, let's say, low-quality, engagement-optimized web data, that it could cause lasting brain rot in the LLMs.
Yeah, that phrase brain rot sounds provocative, right? But the underlying concern is quite serious. The idea is if these models are constantly consuming vast amounts of low-quality, often sensationalized, sometimes contradictory data scraped from the web, it could fundamentally degrade their reasoning capability over time,
Leading to?
leading to more sophisticated hallucinations, flawed logic, maybe even reinforcing biases found in that low-quality data. It's a real worry about the long-term health of these models.
And that leads directly to this industry reality check we're seeing. OpenAI, for instance, had to retract some rather overstated claims about its AI solving major mathematical problems, like the famous Erdős conjectures. That retraction highlights a real need for extreme transparency and, frankly, accuracy in research communication. It felt like a huge overreach at the time.
It absolutely was, and this is exactly the kind of hype bubble that Andrej Karpathy was speaking to when his commentary recently resurfaced. He basically called most current AI agents slop.
Slop. Strong word.
Very. He argues that the truly capable, reliable, learn-on-the-fly AI agents, the ones we're all kind of anticipating, are still maybe up to 10 years away. It's a much-needed call for realism amidst the current, just breathless pace of announcements.
So, okay, if we pull all these threads together, all this hardware race, the specialization, the ethical minefield, what does this current stage of the AI race truly mean for you, the listener?
Well, the sources paint a picture of this clear fundamental tension. You've got the frontier proprietary models pushing the absolute limits of scale and multimodality, backed by these massive investments.
Right.
Then you have the open systems competing fiercely on cost and specialization, finding niches. But the entire industry, regardless of capability level, seems to be struggling with these core challenges around integrity, validation, safety, and even basic infrastructure resilience. The pace is frantic, yes, but we have to recognize that the foundation, both culturally and technologically, still feels pretty shaky.
So, to summarize it for you, the AI race right now seems defined by this aggressive chip diversification, everyone trying to escape reliance on any single vendor, plus widespread specialization, especially in areas like video and health, and this critical immediate need to reconcile staggering capability with ethical governance before these tools cause potentially irreversible damage to digital trust.
Which leaves us with a final provocative thought for you to consider. Given that the research culture itself has struggled with accuracy, we saw that with the retracted mathematical claims, and given that safety experts are now seriously warning about this concept of brain rot from low-quality training data, how can we, as users, actually distinguish between the true breakthroughs promised by all these massive investments and the sophisticated, convincing hallucinations produced by systems that are powerful, yes, but potentially deeply flawed? What verification standard should you demand from the AI tools you're starting to integrate into your daily professional or personal life?